I'm Tiffany Cloud, host of The Storm, and thank you for watching today on WYLN TV 35. This week, we continue our education about the Constitution of the United States. My guest once again is Mary Boyd, who is also known as Miss Constitution. We already reviewed a bit about the history of the document last week, and this week we're going to discuss some constitutional issues of the day and whether our nation is in a constitutional crisis. So stay tuned to WYLN TV 35.
This program is being brought to you by Harmon Funeral Homes and Crematory.
Pull it.
There are lots of things you can pull, but what's the most fun? Pulling parts at Harry's You Pull It, the world's largest auto salvage yard. Pull it. Pull it. Come visit any of their 3 convenient Harry's You Pull It locations: Hazleton, Allentown, Pennsburg, and Pull It. Watch Off the Beaten Path on WYLN TV 35 and discover the Pennsylvania you never knew existed.
Tri-County has been keeping your office up to speed since 1969. Everything your office needs: office supplies, personal and custom business forms, business cards, office furniture, new and used office equipment, copy, print, and scan solutions with wide format capabilities. Leasing is also available, free off-street parking, and free local delivery. Tri-County Business Machines, 117 East Broad Street in Hazleton, 570-459-0754. Family owned and operated since 1969.
Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about visiting a restaurant that has a unique flavor? These are just some of the things we'll be featuring on our show: Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. Jeff Bonomo and his co-host, Alan Giannetti, welcome you into the world of craft beer, great wine, and good food. Wine, Hops, and Road Stops.
Welcome back to The Storm. I am joined today once again by Mary Boyd, who is also known as Miss Constitution. And in the first show, Mary, we talked about a bit of the history of the Constitution, bundles of law. We did a bit of a background education. But now I really want to dive into some hot topics of the day. And I hear the phrase constitutional crisis batted around a lot. But it seems like it means different things to different people. I really want to hear from you. What just overall would you see broadly as a constitutional crisis?
I would definitely see the election of Abraham Lincoln in November and the immediate loss of all the southern states from the Union as a constitutional crisis.
Okay.
That is the seriousness that we're talking about. There really have been 3 constitutional crises, in my opinion. The first one was the election of Jefferson in 1800 over John Adams. And that turned out to be one of the most egregious violations of unwritten law we've had. It was not a clean campaign. The Constitution was not clear about how the Electoral College would work. We had to amend the Constitution to sort of clear that up in the 12th Amendment. But
okay.
It was a very nasty election. And that turned out to be a constitutional crisis because there kept being tie votes for president. Mm-hmm. And then the Civil War.
Okay.
And all of the secession of those states created a constitutional crisis.
So
when you lose an election, that is not a constitutional crisis.
Well, I was just going to ask you, so are we in a constitutional crisis right now?
I don't understand what the constitutional crisis could be. We had an election, and Donald Trump won the election. He won the majority of the electoral votes, and that's how we elect presidents for a reason. The Electoral College is very important to keep. And he won, and his opponent would not accept
the results.
The peaceful transfer of power. Peaceful transfer of power in our system is one of the founding notions. That John Adams retreated gracefully. He knew that it had been a very, very ugly campaign. Abigail Adams wrote Thomas Jefferson and let him know that she knew that it was unfair. Nevertheless, he graciously stepped aside. When you lose an election, you're required to graciously step aside. And that is not what has happened. To call it a constitutional crisis when it amounts to a temper tantrum is, in my opinion, just...
Well, and those on the left might argue, they would say, well, I think we're in a constitutional crisis because I think the executive branch of government is overstepping its bounds. You know, we have these 3 distinct branches of government, and is the executive branch overstepping? For example, in the case of immigration, is the president overstepping? And to them, that may be a constitutional crisis. What say you to that?
Well, if every overstepping became a constitutional crisis, we would be in crisis all the time. It's not exactly correct to think of the 3 branches of government. Remember, this was the founders' way of splitting power so that we wouldn't consolidate power and get tyranny. So much of the 3 branches have shared power. It's not exclusive. Congress does have exclusive power over some things, and the president has exclusive power, but a lot of it is shared power. And that is why the bundle of law, unwritten law, called courtesy and comity, is so critical among the 3 branches. Right. The Congress should respect the office of the presidency and the person who holds that office. That is their duty, to attack under the guise of their constitutional ability to oversee the executive branch is really incorrect. They do not have a constitutional right to harass the President of the United States.
Well, you lead me right into what has to be asked of you while you're here, because it's impossible for me to have you on the show at this time when we're taping in early June of 2019 without discussing what's in our news every day. The left, many in the left, are pushing for impeachment of the president, in spite of the fact that the Mueller report indicated no collusion, and in spite of the fact that it's really hard to obstruct if there was no crime in the first place. Meanwhile, the right is pushing for, looking for the source of the non-verified dossier using Russian disinformation that was used to go after the president, which the president calls a witch hunt, and the Attorney General says he's going to get to the bottom of it. I guess the question is, though, how can those on the left think that the president has done anything that warrants an impeachable offense when he has not been charged with a single crime? I mean, when Clinton was impeached, there was a list of, a dozen crimes or so.
Well, there's a lot of things to discuss in your
yeah,
what
I
you
know
just
it's
said.
packed. So
it's packed.
The good news is we have about 20 minutes left. So,
first of all, the impeachment is a political tool. It has nothing to do with a crime. You do not need a crime to impeach. And impeachment is about the president's behavior in office, not during a campaign, not his personal business life or even his personal life prior to the campaign. Impeachment is about the president's behavior in office with that power.
Okay.
So all things prior to his taking the oath of office really should not have anything to do with impeachment.
I see.
What has he done now? What has he done while president? And it doesn't have to be a crime. Any federal officer can be impeached. The Supreme Court justices can be impeached. Any federal officer can be impeached. The head of the FBI can be impeached. The Attorney General can be impeached. These are federal public servants, only one of whom I have spoken of is elected. Mm-hmm. So for an elected president, impeachment is a political tool, and the founders wanted it that way because in the 18th century, and the personal honor meant something. So they wanted every senator and every representative, they wanted them on record about the honor of the presidency. And the impeachment is a process where the House of Representatives says, we do not like this person, and we think while he was in office, he did the following things.
Okay.
And that goes to the Senate, and the Senate conducts a trial. Mm-hmm. So we are not in a constitutional crisis, in my opinion. We are in a situation where we're trying to discover, there's really no point in discussing the Mueller investigation, although it has questionable origins. We're best, I think, as a nation, to just calmly wait until we have the facts.
Okay, and I have to stop you there because we have to go to break, but we'll pick it up shortly. We'll be right back on The Storm.
This program is being brought to you by Harmon Funeral Homes and Crematory.
Looking for the right car, the right price, and the right dealer? Find it at Fairway Subaru in Hazleton. We offer a great selection of new Subarus, all at prices that save you money, like on new 2019 Outbacks. Plus, the Fairway Promise program continues to save you money after the sale. And Fairway Subaru has been nationally recognized with a 2019 Love Promise Community Commitment Award. That means we're dedicated to the best customer service and our community. Find what you're looking for today at Fairway Subaru in Hazleton. The right car, the right price, the right dealer.
Hi, I'm Julia Wiegand, the newest news reporter for WYLN News. I'm so proud to be part of your #1 local news team. WYLN News. When local news happens, you can count on WYLN News to be there, whether it's in Berwick, Tamaqua, or right here in Hazleton. We work hard to be your #1 local news station, and will continue to work hard to stay #1.
I created Teeter so people could live healthier, more active lives. I know what it's like to have back pain. When I found Inversion, it changed my life forever, and I believe it can change yours. In just a few minutes a day in your own home to help relieve back pain, relieve stress, improve posture, rejuvenate joint health, and build core strength.
The Teeter offers natural relief from back pain, targeting the source of the ache by relaxing tense muscles and providing decompression that can help realign the spine, restore nutrients to the discs, and reduce painful nerve pressure.
Medical research studies have shown the benefits of Inversion, and over 3 million people have put their trust in Teeter to feel better, move better, and live better. I'm in my 80s, and I feel great.
Now, you can try the Teeter Fit Spine for 30 days for just $14.95, and we'll ship it to you for free. Call now.
To a child battling a critical illness, a wish can feel like a dream. But it's so much more. Wishes are an important part of medical treatment. A chance for kids to see themselves differently. Wishes can give kids the strength to fight, to get better, to grow up. Where there's a wish, there's a way.
In a world where an instant tweet can create a firestorm of news coverage, WYLN is moving with the times, allowing for more instant reporting of breaking news on television and on social media, as well as regular hourly news updates. News gets out faster than ever before, and WILN brings it all to you. Live weekdays at 5:30 only on WILN. We're your local network.
Welcome back to The Storm. We're talking about the Constitution with Mary Boyd, also known as Miss Constitution. Mary, a big issue in this area and certainly across the entire country is immigration. And importantly, I know in this area, for many people, you know, we are a nation of immigrants. We recognize this. Our community is one of immigrants, but we want this process to be legal. We have a true crisis right now at the border. The number of arrests this year relative to last year of people just swarming in and across our borders is absolutely staggering. And our border agents can't even keep up. I mean, they're doing an extraordinary job with limited resources at this point, considering the influx. A lot of people on the left would say that the president is overstepping, doing too much, the whole idea of the wall's nuts, etc. That, you know, that we need to be more of a wide gate company and not a country and not a high fence country. I just want to hear a constitutional perspective on immigration from you and your thoughts on this topic.
It's a very difficult topic, and it's a sensitive topic. Mm-hmm. But factually, it's the best place to start with immigration issue. First of all, in Article 1, Section 8, Congress itself has total control about immigration. The president's role in immigration is only when there's a national security issue that's involved. Actually, immigration is one of those exclusive areas of Congress. And the Constitution of the United States, the supreme positive law of the land, supersedes all these states and their sanctuary cities. If that ever got to the Supreme Court, those sanctuary cities would go. You cannot pass a law that conflicts with federal law on immigration, because immigration is entirely federal, not state, and entirely Congress's problem.
Okay, but one of the things you said is unless national security.
If national security, the president is the leader regarding national security. If he thinks this is a national security issue, he has the right to.
And the argument that's being made, certainly by him, is that it is a national security issue, that we don't necessarily know who's coming across the border. There are some, you know, bad eggs. There's some good people, of course, that are just looking for freedom, but there may be some bad eggs. There may be some people coming across affiliated with terror organizations. There may be people. So the concern is that. There's the concern is that people are going to come in and take jobs, and it's going to affect our economy,
well, let's wrap it up with what we've already discussed.
Okay.
It's not exactly true we're a nation of immigrants. We're a nation of immigrants who want to be American and want to assimilate into our culture. We are a nation with 4 bundles of law. Our primary value is liberty, which means everyone who's in America has the same liberty, personal choices. We allow all that liberty with the understanding that each person has a duty to obey those 4 bundles of law. So the immigration that we're talking about are worthy people who want to become American, who want to learn the language, who want to understand the 4 bundles of law. If the society from which they came has a conflict with our law stands. And these are people who we carefully assimilate into our society. And that type of immigrant has absolutely invaluable to America.
Yes.
Wholesale invasion of the United States.
That's a different story.
Is an invasion. And it really goes to Article 4 of the text of the Constitution itself. Article 4 of the Constitution itself talks about the relationship between states and the relationship between states and the federal government. And the federal government promises every state in this union a Republican form of government and protection against invasion.
So it's really a determination of what constitutes invasion.
The Supreme Court is the exact right body to make those definitions.
Okay, so that's what you would think should happen.
I think there should be a filing under Article 4 of the United States of the body of the Constitution. So this is not an amendment, this is not a Supreme Court ruling, which carry much less weight than the actual text of the Constitution, which protects each state. You have to remember that every illegal alien, adult or child, crosses first into a state. Mm-hmm. Texas, Arizona, California. And the United States has laws about, we have whole sections, page after page after page, about what type of person we do not want in the United States and is inadmissible under any circumstances. And these deal with pandemic diseases and certain sociopathic behaviors that we really do not want in our society. And the reason those are so important to us is we value liberty, and we cannot have the social order menaced by a certain type of pathological person. It's not, if we had a police state, we would just round all those people up. But that's not how we live in America. That's why the assimilation of all legal immigrants is very, very critical in America. And that's why the notion that one person comes, we just invite the whole family. You can't invite the whole family because you have to investigate each and every single one of them. Mm-hmm. Each and every one of them. That's the way immigration works best for our nation and has worked for our nation really since the 19th century. For the first 100 years of America, there were no immigration restrictions, mm-hmm. per se. Mm-hmm. We were vast lands. But it's very important. Our social order is more fragile than we think. That's why those 4 bundles of law matter so much.
Okay, with that, we're going to go to break. We'll be right back on The Storm.
This program is being brought to you by Harmon Funeral Homes and Crematory. S.J. Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call S.J. Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
What's on TV? Plenty. WYLN TV 35, the best in local programming.
Have your event with Whitetail, graduation, birthday, bachelor, reunion parties? They have the most tranquil backyard experience with beautiful mountains in the background. If your company or business wants a different alternative to a golf outing, they have outings that can accommodate you. You can have the entire facility to yourself. They will work with you to set up your day of events. Sporting clay competitions, trap and wobble trap games, skeet. After a day of shooting, you'll return to a meal designed for you. Call Mike at 570-535-6123 for available group options.
Join us this week on Let's Talk Chiropractic. It's National Posture Month, and Dr. John and Dr. Stacy are going to give you really great tips on how to keep your posture the best that it can be this week. Join us.
Attention, WYLN viewers. WYLN TV can now be seen on the Hazleton Service Electric Cablevision HD tier, channel 507, and over the air at 35.1. WYLN, we're your local network.
Welcome back to The Storm. I want to end this episode where it all begins, which is with the first words of the Constitution of the United States, we the people. You recently wrote an article that you sent me, which I absolutely loved and I found so inspiring. And the essence of it is that we the people have it all backwards, that we are forgetting that government is there to serve us. We are not the servants of government. And you will say this much better than I will. So I'm going to let you talk about that and the concerns about us having it a bit upside down these days.
Well, it's risky. One of the experiments that the founders created in 1787, in addition to the splitting the atom of power, which was never done in the history of statecraft, an amazing idea. The other thing they did was to make the people the sovereign. So not the monarchy, not an oligarchy, but the people of the United States. So the sovereign has to pay attention. And the way the sovereign pays attention in America is it relies on eyes and ears to help us. And those eyes and ears are a free press. The free press is not to tell us how to think, it's to give us the facts so we can think for ourselves.
You need to send the free press a memo.
Well, the press is supposed to investigate. The press is supposed to dig and dig and dig, find facts out about the corruption the founders knew would be in government. Find it, tell us, and give us those names. And we, the sovereign, will take action. But things have all been turned around. The definition of a free press now is a comment, a commentator, an opinion maker. The sovereign is not interested in the press's opinion. What the sovereign needs is eyes and ears. It needs investigations. It needs digging. This was really done, as you remember, in the beginning of the 20th century with the trust busting and McClure's Magazine and all those great journalists who found all of the dirt in the large trusts and corporations. We need the same thing today. We do not have a free press as the founders imagined the press. So the sovereign is basically blind. And what happens when you become blind and you don't have information is you wander off and say, well, they're smart people and we'll just let them handle it.
Yep, and that is a very, very dangerous thing. So, Mary, I can't even thank you enough for coming on the show. I could listen to you all day long and do a 5,000-part series with you. So please come back again. And remember, folks, when you look around and you don't like what you see, don't complain about it. You can do something about it. Learn about the Constitution, read the Constitution, and thank you for watching.